What is that? Should I just like censor my face the whole time? G'day guys, so in my previous video when I made that OTT video tutorial thing that I promised you that if I hit 50 subs I would buy SERUM, well, I finally bought it. I've been using this way more than massive, and in my own time I've been experimenting and whatnot, and I managed to make this really cool like Pixel Terror bass, which sounds like this. I thought it sounded a lot like Pixel Terror because it kind of sounds like that one bass in their remix of the Mortal Kombat theme, which is what I kind of made here. So I thought, since I've never done a sound design tutorial before, and that there aren't much Pixel Terror sound design tutorials out there, I thought, why not make one of my own? So here we go. So this is the bass itself. It's pretty much just a combination of one LFO and the wavetable dist Whapper SQ has been used. And pretty much the LFO is controlling the level of oscillator A, the wavetail of oscillator A, and then it's being FMing from B, and I have it all the way up. If it isn't all the way up, then it'll just sound like this. It sounds okay, but then it just doesn't sound like a growl, you know? So that's why I have it all the way up. You may hear this like fuzziness in the sound, like that. That's what happens when FM is all the way up. But the technique that I used to like eliminate most of that fuzziness was to put oscillator B bend plus. If it isn't on bend plus, then it'll just sound like this. It just sounds like the high frequencies are like really like smushy. That's why I have it all the way up, to make it sound like a single waveform. If I have it on bend minus, then it will sound like this. Sounds pretty much the same. And then over here, in the filter, I think the high pass is what really makes the magic happen. I have a high pass 12, and the LFO is controlling the cutoff here. The resonance is at 12 o'clock. Then in the effects, I'll just turn all the effects off. You can't really hear anything. I have a distortion with the tube setting, and the drive all the way up. If it's not all the way up, it'll sound like this. Yeah, I think the drive is what really like brings it to life. Then I have a simple EQ with a little notch here, being modulated by the LFO. I think that kind of gives it a little bit more vowel, I would say. And then of course the classic SERUM compressor, which is basically OTT. Yeah, it really gives it like power. And then finally some And then finally some, what's it called? Dimension expander to really give it some room. So the size is pretty much at 9 o'clock and the mix is at 12. I didn't really give it much backing voices here, I just turned the mix down low. So I'm also going to show you how you can like use this in your like own production. So obviously, as you heard here, I made it sound like the Mortal Kombat remix. Also, the reason why these notes are sliding along is because I have mono and legato on, and the portamento knob is at, I'd say 130, which is really what makes it slide. See here? But instead of this, I might just show you some different ways of how you can use this sound. You can probably use this as a starter bass, I would say. So if I make notes like this, and I'll just turn that about 1 o'clock-ish. Then you can kind of use that as a bass as it like starts a drop. And a way to make it sound a lot better is probably by turning the cutoff a little bit. Yeah, I think that kind of sounds a bit more like a starter bass. Other things you can do to make this sound a little more unique is by changing the wavetables of oscillator A. I think that actually sounds cool. You know, I think you can just turn this sound into anything you want, as long as FM from B is all the way up and bend plus is all the way up. And what if I change this to a sine wave? Yeah, I think that sounds kind of the same. It does nothing to the square wave. Also, I forgot to mention it has 6 voices. Also, you know, changing the mix of the filter kind of affects it a little bit, but I'd say just be careful with this and just think about how you're going to use it properly. Other things you can do is like adjust the LFO and maybe not have it automate the level. You can also like add some more effects on it, like for instance you can put a phaser on it to give it like vowel-y sort of effect, like that throat sort of vowel. You can do that just by automating the frequency here. Or you can also do stuff with the EQ here. You can pretty much do anything you want with this bass. But basically that's it. I just pretty much wanted to share with you guys a really cool bass that I made. And like, you know, help beginners learn to sound like their favorite artists. I mean, it's good that you want to sound like your idols or whatever. But you know what, I'd just say be unique. I'd say mess around with SERUM all you want until you find something that sounds cool and just use that. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I might make some more in the future, so stick around for that. Anyways, that'll do for now. So thank you and see ya.
What? Behängelsen?